70s tomorrow night. Sunny with isolated showers, middle to upper 80s on Friday. Rip current risk remains elevated. Rough seas will continue. Small craft advisory in effect. Follow along as animal parents balance risk and reward to raise their young in the grasslands. On Nature, tonight at 9 p.m. on WTJX TV, Channel 12.
WTJX 93.1 Charlotte Amalia. Your
The views and opinions expressed on Analyze This are entirely those of the on-air participants and do not reflect those of the station's board, management, staff, or underwriters.
And we're back here on Analyze This, wrapping up a conversation with Chanel Peterson from the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority. We got some power outages as a result of the weather. Good morning, Chanel. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Well,
How are you?
I got a lot of my listeners ain't doing well, so help me out.
Indeed. So the main question is what's happening, what's been happening, and what we hope is going to fix what about 1,500 customers on Feeder 7A has been experiencing with the electrical service outage that began late, I guess, on Monday night. So we have been, over the past 24 or so hours, inspecting reclosers, surveying the lines, trimming vegetation, isolating sections of Feeder 7A, and really troubleshooting the repeated faults and trips. Over the last 24 hours, the line crews have made attempts to energize Feeder 7A. However, customers have seen fluctuations, of power, where power will be on perhaps in 30 minutes and then it goes back off. This is happening primarily due to a safety mechanism that automatically shuts down the system to prevent further damage. Not only damage to the lines out in the field, but also damage to the power plant. So there have been times as well, upon seeing the instabilities of the power surges that the plant has been experiencing due to Feeder 7A, we've had to take offline Feeder 7A to reduce any further damage. What we have now identified this morning is that the issues may be due to system loading. So basically, Feeder 7A may be carrying too much demand. A couple weeks ago, when we experienced a fault, we did put a portion of customers from Feeder 8B onto Feeder 7A. And so we're thinking this may be part of the reason why that Feeder 7A is not remaining stable. So what the line crews are working on today, in addition or in collaboration with the plant operators, is removing that portion of the Feeder 8B customers onto a separate feeder, and then we're going to make additional attempts to restore power, hopefully with that grid stability. So it is our top priority this morning.
So this is a Feeder 7A issue?
Yes, Feeder 7A is the main issue right now. We do have less than 200 customers in other areas that are out, like Frenchman's Bay, Contant, Bavoni, there's about 10, Langmath, I believe there's 9, and Nazareth also has about 10 customers that are also without power. And our crews are working on bringing those online as well. But the big priority, since we have such a large portion of customers that are still without power, especially considering Feeder 7A actually went out before we started to see the high winds and rain, and it was initially caused by reduction at the power plant. So they've been experiencing this a bit longer than everybody else. And so from yesterday, we've had a couple crews truly, as I mentioned, doing all these things, trying to troubleshoot what is happening. And we think, as I mentioned, that the system loading could be the cause. So we're hopeful that that's going to correct and allow us to restore power. I did ask about estimated time of restoration, and unfortunately they weren't able to provide us with one. So we don't have an estimated time of restoration as of yet, but the crews have been out there since 7 a.m. This morning. So we're hoping that, we get some resolution and relief for our customers.
And St. Croix, St. John, and Water Island, they're okay for the most part?
St. John, yes, we have full restoration on St. John. We have a couple outages remaining on St. Croix, but we have no feeder outages on St. Croix, and it's very minimal customers. Our crews as well are working out this morning to do and restore those final customers on St. Croix.
And Water Island, good?
And Water Island is good as well.
All right. Thank you very much. Call me tomorrow.
Will do. Thank you.
That. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's Chanel Peterson, Director of Corporate Communications for the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority. We had this rain that started on Monday night, and apparently folks on feeder 7A in St. Thomas have been adversely impacted. Hoping we can rectify that as soon as possible. Commissioner of Tourism, Jennifer Matarangas-King, good morning. Glad to have you here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Do you walk with your deputy?
I walked with Shaniqua Robinson, who is our communications specialist. I know that everyone has been hearing her as we share all the good news from the Department of Tourism.
Good morning, Ms. Robinson. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great, thanks.
Abandon us, but it's okay. I'm just joking. How's the gig, man?
Things are going well. It's been a very busy 6 months, exactly 6 months today.
When did Governor call you to tell you wanted to take the job? When that was? And how did that go?
I prefer not to get into the details.
No, when the governor called you? The governor had to call you at some point to say that he wanted to do the job.
Shortly after I left Via.
Okay.
Yes.
And it came together quickly?
There was a break. I took some time off, and then I returned home. And
don't believe you're gonna come here with what you used to do to Via in the private sector. You know what I mean? You're there in the public sector now, right? So around what time the governor? If it says 6 months, well, August. You started in August.
I started in August. Yes.
Okay, so the governor approached you what?
Earlier than that.
Earlier than that.
Yes.
You're good for chill. You're good for chill. I respect that. What did you find when you walked in the doors at the Department of Tourism?
I found a strong team that's very passionate about the work. So that was good in terms of people who are professionals. And obviously, I think one of the things that is deceiving about the Department of Tourism to the eye, most people looking in, I don't think they realize how small. I think we are the smallest department because people see the big events and the festivals and all the productions, but it's a very small team. One of the things I focused on is really building out the team. There was a need for some additional talent. And so that was a priority for me within the first 90 days. I was able to do an assessment. And so, of course, Ms. Robinson, I think she's one of the most visible ones that everybody knows. But I really looked at, because I've been engaged and involved in the community, I was able to relatively quickly identify VI professionals who were already making their mark and coming into the department with knowledge and experience. So Shaniqua Robinson joined our team. We also have Kalahari Bryan, who is a social media specialist, which takes our local communications team up to 3. And so I think people are seeing it in terms of what we look like, the engagement with social media, coming on the radio and sharing a lot more information with our community. We also added a tourism cultural coordinator, Mr. Kendall Henry. Most people know him as Casey. Someone who's coming with a wealth of experience when it comes to the arts, communications, culture. I wanted to have an in-house expert. So whether we're doing tours or receiving groups, but also one of the big things for us moving forward is really making sure that culture is not just a word that we use, but we're really engaging with the community. And that includes the schools and the university. We've already done one activity with the university. We've been doing career fairs. Beefing up the team, we were able to do a lot more and have those kinds of conversations. Added a CFO, Mr. Kenneth Milligan, another professional who came in with great experience to really take a look at how we're managing. And then also promotion. For us, it was important to really focus on the visitor experience. So promoted Nicole Peterson in St. Thomas, who's already there, and brought back Sharon Rosario. So those ladies are heading up our visitor experience team. They also lead the greeters. If you have been coming to the airports, especially on St. Croix, for a while, we had one greeter. Now we have greeters, we have entertainment. Visitor experience, I want to say a little bit about that because at the end of the day, there are lots of destinations, lots of sun, sand, sea. You have to have a different type of experience. And what will be your experience when you come to the USVI? What will set it apart? And so that team has been integral in, things have changed. There are more delays with flights. There are things that happen, weather, extreme weather. There are times when, people are stranded here. And having that team in place to really support the airlines, to support our hospitality partners, they have been just an integral part of most people's experiences, especially over the last few months. And then we also brought on Alvin Burke, and I know he's been on the show several times as the Assistant Director of Division of Festivals on St. Croix. And so, we spent some time really looking at what were the needs, what were the where were the areas that we wanted to really grow. So tourism was good, but now we were looking at really more community engagement. I've been coining it VI as vested interest, because at the end of the day, once again, it's coming back to the people and the experience. What are people going to remember that will make them want to come back again and again?
After 26 years in the private sector, what was the biggest transition for you personally coming back to the public sector?
Interestingly enough, there are similarities. I think, even in the private sector, there is some degree of bureaucracy. It's obviously different running a government agency. Yeah. So there are some components that are different just in terms of getting things done. I'm still a PR person, you're not going to...
You haven't transitioned to commissioner yet, you know what I'm saying? You're still in the PR business, not wanting to say, because I asked personally for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You were PR, and you were actually part of an executive team.
Correct.
Now you are in charge. So
Correct.
That's what I'm asking. What's the big difference between being part of a decision-making team and now being part of a decision-making team, but with the buck stopping with you?
Right. So I always say the kind of manager I am is based on some of my best experiences as an employee and some of my worst. And for me, I think it's important, communication, sharing information. If your team isn't fully aware of everything that's happening, they're going to make up the story. And so we've really been working hard on engagement internally in terms of sharing information. But I also think it was very important, and that's why we have really looked at our communications team. When you're in a tourist destination, I know this is something some people don't like to hear. Whether you think about it or not, you're part of the experience. And for us, I think it was important for our community to, number one, know what we're doing, not just the awards, and we have been winning amazing awards, but on a day-to-day basis, what are some of the things that we're doing that's going to be helpful for them? We've really been working on lots of collaborations. I think if you attended any of the festival events, there were some new components in terms of, they were born out of collaborations and relationships. For example, Shamari Moorhead for Our Town Frederickstead, he was an amazing collaborator with the Division of Festivals. His MyVI app was integral to having the schematics and the information and the booths, a lot of things that people always asked about. You could have the information ahead of time. We collaborated with the RT Park and the Community Impact Fund, and they started off, this was the first one, a microloan program for people who are involved in festival, whether you're a booth owner or you make a product. And several people took advantage of that. And that started on St. Croix, but it will be continuing at St. Thomas Carnival and then celebration in St. John. Okay. I do want to say something. AgriFest is coming up. We've always had a presence at AgriFest, but this time it's going to be even more interactive. Whether you're a local or a visitor, I encourage you to visit our booth. We'll have a lot of fun games, a lot of interesting things. But we also want to make sure that we're communicating directly. We are going to have 3 cruise ships actually act for a weekend, which is going to be good.
That's awesome.
And we're working with the partners, once again, collaboration, to ensure that the people coming off of the cruise ships know about AgriFest. They can get to AgriFest. They can download the app. visit our booth. And so we're just finding ways to use technology to really ramp up our communication and our engagement with everyone, residents and visitors alike.
Yes, it's February. We're in the peak season. How is the tourism season going so far?
Everything is going well. We are doing well. We have benefited from some of the challenges that other people have had. I mean, we've had issues with weather and people being stuck. Once again, that's where visitors' experience is critical in terms of assisting those visitors with finding lodging or rebooking. So it's been busy. One of the things we found, so 2025 was a good year. 2024 was a record year, but one of the things we're finding more and more is it's not, the seasonality piece of it is flattening out. Before it used to be boom and then valley and boom. You're finding more, that summertime it was very busy. And so, that says a lot about people thinking about us, not only when the weather is cold, but year round. And I think, once again, we've been doing a phenomenal job of really marketing the destination and all the things that make us unique. I encourage everyone. I was just at a trade show in Boston a few days ago and really encouraging with travel advisors. I said, if you're coming to the USVI, come at least for a week. Do all 3 islands. And that's something, the uniqueness of, I can go there and I can do all of these different things. So I think we've been doing a great job of marketing and it's paying off.
Is there anything you want your PR person to incorporate in the conversation? Because I don't like to have them just sit in there and,
Sure.
No, I'm
no, that's just how I am.
by Neville. No, I'm literally here to support the commissioner. I'm going to mention a few things about the USVI festivals, the dates that are coming up a little later in the conversation, but I'm just here to support her, and she, she's going to do all the logistical work. I'm here sitting, I'm a fan. I'm here sitting down like, wow, I don't even know how she remember all these things.
So you're going to tell me when you're going to be a part of the conversation?
No, she's going to throw me in. She's going to loop me in when she's ready.
Well, actually, you know what? This is a good place for you to interject. So you, going back to community communication, talk about when you came on to discuss the USA Today survey. And, so we were letting people know we need you to vote. So talk about that and then talk about the results.
Okay, so when I came on with Neville and Alvin, we spoke about the USA Today top 10, the best, and we had the Buccaneer, we had Crucian Rum, we had the Deep End. So basically, St. Croix got number 6 in the best Caribbean islands to visit in 2026. So that goes to show when you said like we go Hyde and we go Valley, but it's literally straight across the board. So St. Croix is on the map for that. We scored big in the 2026 Caribbean Travel Awards. The territory earned 3 major honors this year, spotlighting our appeal to travelers around the world. And we have a new Hotel of the Year, St. John. It's actually called the Saint on St. John. And that got Hotel of the Year. And we also got Caribbean Cruise Destination of the Year, the USVI on a hold.
So this is based on 2025 activity. The awards apply to where to visit for 2026?
Yes.
Okay.
It rolls over,
explain that for the audience and also that because they're hearing 2026 and we're only like 30 something days in, so that's why. So this is 20. We had a great 2025. Is what you're saying?
Amazing. Yes.
Okay, good. We got Tourism Commissioner Jennifer Matarangas-King here, along with Ms. Shaniqua Robinson, our Public Relations Director, Communications Director,
Communication Specialist.
Communication Specialist. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.
WTJX is underwritten in part by Cost You Less, your local warehouse retailer offering a wide variety of grocery items. bulk size everyday essentials, and household necessities that you can depend on to run your home or business. Located at 4300 Sign Farm, Christiansted, 340-719-4442 or costyouless.com. Cost You Less is proud to support public media in the Virgin Islands.
Medgar Evers worked for freedom, the right to vote, and civil rights for every American. His dedication and sacrifice left a legacy that endures.
It was his mission to make not Mississippi, but the United States of America better.
See part 1 of this powerful documentary, Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers.
Tune in February 9th at 8 p.m. on WTJX TV Channel 12.
I'm Scott Simon, host of Weekend Edition Saturday. In these divided times, what could be more important than a conversation? Conversation with someone we don't know, someone we think we know, someone with whom we disagree or think we do. Join us as we ask questions of politicians, ranchers, parents, athletes, activists, gardeners, writers, and lots more. Then listen along with you.
Weekend Edition, Saturdays at 9 a.m. on WTJX FM 93.1, your NPR station in the Virgin Islands.
In this episode, talk show host Sarah Haynes and actor and playwright Tracy Letts uncover their roots.
Oh my gosh.
Did you ever think you had an ancestor who had been imprisoned?
Oh yeah. I would have bet on prison.
You never heard about this?
No. That's amazing.
Please turn the page.
Oh my God. I'm related to a president.
It's for real.
Wow. Tune in February.
And we're back here on Analyze This. We got the Tourism Commissioner, Jennifer Knight, Matarangas-King.
Most people don't know that part.
They don't know the night. They started doing night. Because Matarangas-King now going forward. And Shanika Robinson. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning again.
How big is your department? What's the budget? Ballpark figure?
Budget is $36 million.
What percentage of that is for advertising and promotion?
About a third of it is.
A third?
A little bit more than a third. A little bit more than a third.
That ain't enough. You need more. That's not Neville James' opinion. You don't have to go against your governor, because I know you're still in PR mode and being careful what you got to say. So it takes $24 million to run your agency operationally?
Well, so there's we have marketing. We work with a marketing team. We have a PR. Mm-hmm. And so those are just some of the contracts. We also have other associated costs in terms of activations and all of that.
That's what I'm saying. Your agency is different from other agencies.
Correct.
It's not as operationally,
Right.
I want to find the right word. I'm not going to find it too. The commitment in terms of your workforce, right? Mm-hmm. Out of that $36 million, you got a significant amount of contractual obligations out of that, right?
Correct.
So your actual workforce for your agency territory-wide is how much?
Right now we have 38 employees.
Wow.
Yeah, like I said, we are one of the smallest. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind that I added 7 within the last few months. So.
Included in that 38 or 7 plus the 38?
No, included in the 38.
Wow. Well, as a tourism commissioner, when you look at, let me go from island to island to island, when you look at St. John, in terms of your vision and a marketing plan or design to continue to promote St. John, #1 beach in the wall, Trunk Bay, and all that stuff, what would you be looking at? I mean, I know it's limited space to work with because the Park Service presence.
Right. So St. John is, and going back to each island having its own personality, some of the challenges that we may have in terms of infrastructure in other places, we don't have in St. John. Obviously, it's smaller. I think it goes back once again to marketing and understanding who would really be attracted to a location that's primarily, that's not going to be the place you go if you want to do shopping or, lots of nightlife. I mean, it's a very specific audience. And so, we are constantly reminding everyone about the threes, 3 islands, 3 ways to fet. And so depending on where we're going, Sometimes it's targeted marketing, and we do, I think most people know that we do big activations with sports teams. And I think it's one of those things that goes back to communication and explaining to everyone that you have to be out there. You have to be present. And it's until you get into a stadium that has 80,000 people, and what the activations look like. So it's almost like we do a mini carnival at these activations where people have a chance to talk to us, they see entertainment, but also you're advertising to these people. So imagine someone sitting at a game, it's freezing. Mm-hmm. And we're telling you, you really should be on St. Croix, you really should be in St. Thomas, you really should be in St. John. So I think we do a good job of being in different spaces. And it's not just sports. There are food festivals that we go to. That's another thing that we've won many awards for, being, a culinary destination. And that's something that I think we're going to be doing even more with that. Because we have had amazing chefs that we have showcased, and they have represented us well. I was at the CHTA, Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, awards last year, and that was great. Our bartender and chefs won bronze across the board. So we just have a lot that we can really showcase in major markets, and we're really working to ensure that we are getting, so whether it's advertising in urban markets so people can know, okay, there are different shows in different places. So we're in different spaces and always looking at, okay, where do we want to, this place may be saturated. People know about us here, but do they know about us in the Midwest? What's happening on the West Coast? Those are the things that we're always assessing in terms of as we move forward.
St. Thomas, the goose that lays the golden egg as it relates to hotel rooms and all that stuff.
Correct.
What else you want to do? What else you want to do to enhance the product?
For St. Thomas, we definitely want to work and collaborate with anyone who knows me knows I love that word, so you're going to hear it a lot, collaborate with our partners. And that includes, we do quite a bit with the Hotel and Tourism Association, more engagement with the Chamber, because once again, all of these folks are players, and whenever we're doing something, we have to think about how is it going to affect. When Carnival happens, when a festival happens, how is that going to affect the businesses? I'm going to use an example of something that, going back to some things that weren't planned, was not a part of our marketing, happened in the last few months. And we figured out a way to really maximize it. So, for example, the military ships, that was not, on anybody's bingo card, when the budget was being put together. And I let people know, I said, they're ships, they're coming here for R&R. Many of them are here for several days. The coordination before they come with tourism, police department, Vitima, everybody, we're in lockstep. We're there to greet them, make sure they have maps, they have information. Although they're not technically heads in beds, what we do know is most people who come back for the average 5-day stay, their first taste of the island is going to be on a cruise ship. And so we want to make sure that you have an amazing experience. A big part of that was explaining that to everyone that, listen, they're visitors. And so that level of coordination with all the key players has been very helpful. And the other piece of information is I know for a fact that there are family members who have flown into St. Thomas or St. Croix while the ships are here for a few days to visit them.
That's awesome.
So, that was something that was not planned. I think for us, it's the ability to pivot when you see something, figure out, okay, how can we maximize this? But also, how can we collaborate with the key people who are here to make sure that it's beneficial? So I know for a fact, Frederickstead, Christianstead, I was in St. Thomas last week, it still feels like this is December. It looks that way. When you go into places, restaurants are full. I talked to a lot of businesses to get a sense of how things are going for them. I got feedback, perfect example of, how everybody can benefit. I was talking to Willard John for Guardians of Culture and talked to him all the time. And he was telling me, he's like, listen, hotels and restaurants that didn't have cultural night before, they're calling us because now they know it's not just Friday or Saturday that'll be full when ships are in, and they've been coming in for the last few months. And so you have all these people who are now benefiting. Now, once again, it wasn't a cruise ship, but it's a ship. People are coming in, but more importantly, they're getting a great experience while they're here. And the plan is for them, knowing that most people who come back for that 5-day stay or longer started on a ship is very important to us. But once again, that goes back to communicating that to the public so everyone can see that they have a vested interest in something like that happening.
As it relates to Water Island, the governor was here a week ago and he spoke about a developmental project for Water Island that he supports. They had Governor DeYoung had entered into agreement with a group over there, and that one didn't come together. But apparently, there's a new group that's interested. How can we market Water Island? As small as it is, it's different from the other three for obvious reasons, but it's still a Virgin Island.
I think the way that we market Water Island is
That's on beach over there, honeymoon. They got honeymoon beach over there or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But market it, we talk about the three, but once again, knowing that there's an add-on, in the same way when I talk about St. Croix, I talk about Buck Island. You just have all these different ways that you can have different experiences. Rather than having to go to different destinations, you take the ferry over to St. John, or you take a seaplane. But you are able to, and I see it all the time, I see people get on the seaplane with just a beach bag. They're going to St. Thomas just for the day. But that's okay. And so, all of us benefit when we market properly, but also engage with the community so everybody can understand their role in the process in terms of tourism is not a building with 38 people. Mm-hmm. Tourism is the community and the experience. I was at a conference a few months back, and one of the cruise lines, one of the presidents of the cruise lines made an interesting point. He said, especially, the mega ships, cruise ships, they are so elaborate that in many cases they become a destination. So when you get off the boat, you have to have more to show. And I've spent time talking about cruise ships because I think sometimes there's this idea that, they're not spending the way they did 10, 15 years ago when it was duty free before Amazon and all of that. However, the average cruise ship passenger spends about $167. But more importantly, the cruise ships are really a major, major marketing tool. Like I said, when you poll people, if it's their first time, the next question I ask, were you ever here before? Yes, I was on a cruise ship. So.
What John McCleverty told me 20 years ago, your cruise ship passenger is your next overnight passenger. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
And that's just global. For St. Croix, you talk about increased visibility and marketing and collaboration and all that stuff.
So St. Croix, I think of the three islands when people think of culture. A lot of the conversation around the culinary destination, even events like Taste of St. Croix, there are a lot of food festivals. What's really exciting to me, and this is another point I want to make about how we see our role in the community. So yes, we have the official three ways to fete. St. Croix Festival, St. Thomas Carnival, St. John Celebration. However, we are collaborating closely with the other festivals. Many of them are community-based, and making sure that we include them in our newsletter. So when you look at things that are happening in February, AgriFest may not be one of our official festivals, but it is a festival, and we are helping to market it. The Folklife Festival with TSK, we're going to be a sponsor, we're going to be engaged, we're going to help to market, and we have been working closely with many of the organizations and groups to ensure that people know, I'm going to be in St. Croix next week. Oh, this is happening. And that's a big part of our conversation, supporting, whether it's Tart Wars or, there's a festival for something it seems like every week.
St. Patrick's Parade.
A St. Patrick's Parade. And that's really, really good because it means that you don't just have to, going back to seasonality, it's not, if I come in February, there's nothing to do. If I come in March, there's something to do every single month, and we want to be sure that our visitors know it.
The Chimacama still got an event that they used to have?
And, Business After Hours?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
They still do? That's a quarterly thing or a monthly thing?
Monthly, it depends on the schedule, but generally it's monthly.
Okay, I got a question, a Facebook question here.
Okay.
Please ask Mrs. King this question. Mm-hmm. Right? So, Kelly Keel
okay.
is the name, right? So, Miss Keel, her name is Mrs. Matarangas-King. Okay? I want her husband to say they come in and you know the Matarangas, okay? How is the department, and I think it's an excellent question, how is the Department of Tourism going to shift their stance on the utilization of local vendors to develop locally based marketing content, services, and strategies in contrast to previous commission and government efforts that have disregarded local vendors and encourage outside vendors to fulfill services that are currently provided through local vendors.
Okay. So I think, I can honestly say we've already started that move, having more of an on-ground presence in terms of our communication. That's been critical. There's certain partners that we have had long-standing relationships with, because the marketing is not just, I think oftentimes when people hear marketing, they think of literally just marketing. In many cases, these are collaborators that actually help us when it comes to airlift and other major initiatives. And so we definitely will be engaging more, like I said, even the fact that we have more locals who are actually working in the department. But we do work with local vendors. We do.
So you're going to be using the local vendors, or using them already?
We have some that we're using, yes.
Okay, yeah. But it makes sense because they live here.
Of course.
And they can market,
of course,
the local product. So, you feeling good about the gig?
I am. It's no 2 days are the same. It's very exciting. I love seeing things come to fruition and the team coming together. And I really I think at first people were like, well, why is she focusing so much on local engagement? And I think it's easy for people to forget our locals are also influencers. So if you live in a place and you don't have pride, hey, Jen, I'm thinking about coming down to sing. No, don't bother. I want it to be, hey, listen, when are you coming? Because this and this and this is happening. The way that you're going to get that kind of excitement and pride is engagement. So people know what you're doing. And also, a lot of times it's what's in it for me. Oh, okay. Going back to the example with the ships that are here. The restaurants, people are getting excited because at the end of the day, it's money in their pocket. So making that connection to being an amazing destination, making sure that everyone has a great experience, and tying it back is important. And it's more than just hiring people. We have invested in training, particularly we just started, but we'll be doing more for our greeters and our visitor experience team because they're the front line. They're the ones greeting you as soon as you get off the ship, as soon as you get off the plane. And so really looking at talent development internally has been very, very important for us. But I think if I were to sum everything up, it goes back to my motto of VI is vested interest, that I want everybody to be excited about the destination and the fact that this is our home. I think it's a privilege to live here. People come and they spend a lot of money to come visit us, which is great. We are doing really well in that area. Our average daily rate is about $450. Just with some adjustments. In some places it's reported as 600, but it's, how the math is sometimes. Mm-hmm. But we are doing very, very well as a destination. And we intend to keep the pressure up.
Ms. Robinson, you want to chime in there?
Yeah, I wanted to add that the commissioner is very big on, as she said, collaboration, but most importantly, visibility, so that the community is fully aware of what we're doing, when we're doing, not just on a national level, but most importantly on a local level, because that's how you get the vested interest. That's how you get people to see what we're doing and be excited and want to be a part of it. So we have 3 different social media pages, and they serve 3 completely different purposes, but they tell the full story of tourism in the Virgin Islands. So I just wanted everyone to know that we have a page that's called United States Virgin Islands. That is the destination page. Mm-hmm. We have the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism, which is the official government organization page. And we have USVI Division of Festivals page, which is the community and festival page.
We're talking with the Department of Tourism leadership. We got Commissioner Jennifer Knight, Matarangas-King here, as well as Shanika Robinson, PR specialist. Big shots. About when we come back, a couple of things we're going to talk about. The morning flights that has been, a boon for us that's coming to an end soon, unfortunately. And also a situation I experienced last week with promoting St. Croix and the Mighty Sparrow. We'll be back right after this.
Analyze This is underwritten by Bank of St. Croix. Nonprofits are the backbone of the U.S. Virgin Islands, with deep community knowledge and a history of stepping in, especially during times of crisis. Bank of St. Croix is committed to supporting their mission with a community investment checking account, helping nonprofits earn interest with no monthly service fee and no minimum balance. For information, visit bankofstcroix.com. Bank of St. Croix is proud to support public media in the Virgin Islands.
Mammals. How did our story begin? New discoveries are revealing bizarre creatures.
We have the very earliest ancestors of mammals.
Who evolved before the dinosaurs.
4 times as old as the oldest T-Rex.
Enduring some of the deadliest days on Earth.
It became apparent that there were 2 extinction events.
What was the secret to their survival? Mammal Origins on Nova.
Tune in February 11th at 10 p.m. on WTJX TV Channel 12.
This is a WTJX FM community calendar. Everyone is invited on Saturday, February 21st, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. to the Tutu Park Mall for the Shop Local Grow the Economy Small Business Expo. More info at 340-775-4658. And if you'd like your event aired on the WTJX community calendar, please send it at least 2 weeks in advance to news at WTJX.org.
On Secrets of the Dead, papyrus scrolls buried in the ash of Mount Vesuvius.
We have, for the first time ever,
And we're back here to analyze this. We got Commissioner Jennifer Knight Matarangas-King here in the studio, along with Shaniqua Robinson. You want to correct something, Commissioner?
Sure. You asked me a question earlier about the budget, and I just want to make a correction. So it's actually $39 million. Now, you asked about marketing, and as I mentioned, while we have contracts, we also have auxiliary services and activations and things around it. So for the marketing total PR piece, we're looking at about $34 million. And I will say that when we look at how much we get done, we're competing with other people that have budgets 10 times that. And we're still able to hold our own. We're still able to win awards. We're still able to have visibility in places that other people haven't been yet.
So it costs $5 million to run your agency as it relates to employees. Thereabouts, ballpark figure.
Ballpark.
Right?
Right, exactly. Personal services, fringe benefits, other services, yes.
Okay, good. Okay. No, no. Last week, Thursday, I had Lola Willis on. Lola Willis knows the Mighty Sparrow personally. So I actually, if you talk to Sparrow, when I did that, Todd Newman for Newman Nichols and Civil Light, right?
Yes.
He's a St. Augustine's graduate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he sent me a text message. Apparently he's a big Sparrow fan. And he said Sparrow wrote a song named St. Croix. Thank you very much, Rafi and Canacho.
That was smooth.
No, Rafi, good for it. And when Lolo and I listened to the lyrics, I mean, this thing was a marketing for St. Croix, right? Well, you know how Sparrow is. Talking about.
I'm always meeting
people who
want me to recommend a lovely island for them when they have vacation to spend. I always tell them plainly, if they want to have fun and joy, come to the Virgin Islands, the queen of them all, St. Croix. St. Croix, oh what a lovely island. St. Croix, ideal for vacation. Just to relax on the beaches in the sunshine, you'll find you'll have a wonderful time, oh boy. Come to St. Croix. Come to St. Croix.
Pause it right there, Rafi. Pause it right there. Pause it. I mean, so we were sitting here just marveling. Of course, a lot of our, because he and I had never heard it. a lot of our listeners, including Leon Baptiste, Giacomo, text Lolo and say if we ain't got no shame that we didn't know about this great song promoting St. Croix. So Lolo and I was saying, so Lolo said, well, Neville, that's a marketing tool for the Department of Tourism. Can they repackage it in such a way, because you got reggaeton and all kind of style of music now, dancehall that didn't exist in 1967. When I look back, when we look back at how far this is, you know what I'm saying? This is 3 years before me and 3 years before you. There it was, right? I mean, what about that? I mean, could you imagine that we got somebody who bought in Grenada, live in Trinidad, actually marketing St. Croix at the highest levels, and we didn't even get to the second verse. When you hear the second verse, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Wow. Talk a little bit about that.
That is, so
had you ever heard this before?
I had not. I had not. I think that's amazing. And even the timeline, you're talking about the 60s.
Yeah, man.
That is absolutely amazing. So let's figure out.
I'm not telling you have to do it. I'm just saying we actually have some resources that we may not have tapped into or know about.
But I think that's fascinating, and I want to go in a slightly different direction. You talked about somebody who is from someplace else, lives someplace else, but still loves St. Croix.
He lived here for a little bit, which is typical for a lot of folks from the Eastern Caribbean. Me and you are proof of that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. But it's such a special place in his heart. So that says a lot. And that's before all of this, but it's, the beauty, the people.
And for the record, I want to know if you got a song promoting St. Thomas and St. John, I want them to. Because as I age, I keep telling you, as I age, I'm getting more Virgin Islanders than I am Crucian. And I'm a die-hard Crucian. Everybody knows that. Kick that second verse there so the commissioner could hear him.
This is wild.
You will be in
No, bring it back a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Then of course the hotels.
Okay.
For snorkeling and sailing, this is my belief. You will be enchanted with the lovely Buck Island Reef. Then of course the hotels, so comfortable and clean. You won't want to go back home, you'll want to stay in the Caribbean.
I mean, all right. Turn it down. What more we go on as a Virgin Islands for somebody to talk about us like that?
That is amazing.
Yeah, man. If we could get one of our local artists them to do this in a more, modern day.
Modern way.
You know what I'm saying? Even I Knock in Sparrow, it's a great song. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And you could tell the Calypso were different with how they recorded it and also back in the day. But, that's why the Shiniko to here, you know what I'm saying? And the Alvin Brooks. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. They have a feel for the sound of today that would actually be more,
that is phenomenal.
Scope. Yeah.
That is
Lord and I were just listening to the lyrics. And when we heard it, we were freaking out.
I wonder how many, going back to your point, I wonder how many other songs are out there about the islands that we just don't know about.
I'm sure they're there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, you got Wayne name, right? Pressure?
Yeah, yes.
Red Virgin Islands nice and all that, you know what I'm saying? So
I think Red Hot Flames have referenced the Virgin Islands.
They were
Burning
there?
Flames have referenced the Virgin Islands. South Antigua.
And I know Tego Calderon had mentioned Carambola, but I don't know if you were talking about the hotel or the beach. Or the flower. Or the flower, you know what I'm saying? So the morning flight, which is beneficial to us on multiple levels.
Right.
I was pleasantly surprised in October, November, when I was thinking about doing some traveling or had some trips to take, and I saw that 8:30 flight was available. Then I got the letdown. It's only available till the end of February, I believe it is, or whatever it is. So give us the details with respect to that.
So what happens with the airlines, going back to watching the fact that the seasonality isn't what it used to be. A lot of times you would get specific flights during what's considered the peak time. So in the October to February. One of the things that we're doing is we're constantly having conversations with the airlines about, checking, is it still looking good? Because getting them to start to, continue or maybe bring in a flight in a time, there used to be the slow period. Summer isn't slow anymore. Summer is not slow. I spent a lot of time both places, but I was over at the Westin in July, and it was like standing room only. The place was packed, so once again, having the conversations with the airlines, letting them know what we're looking for. I know I'm going to put it out there because I know I always get the question about more airlift to St. Croix. That is an ongoing conversation. We have 2 new flights coming in this week, actually. On the 5th, we have Southwest coming from Orlando.
Southwest coming to St. Croix.
No, to
St. Thomas.
To St. Thomas.
Okay,
Baltimore to St. Thomas on the 7th. But
both from Southwest.
Both from Southwest. But American Airlines also launched a new Saturday nonstop flight from Chicago to St. Croix. But the St. Croix conversation.
Who did that? Was it?
American Airlines.
Starting when?
It started in December.
Chicago direct to St. Croix. Is that Saturday flight?
Saturday flight.
One-day flight? Okay.
Yeah, Saturday flight.
Okay.
Many of the...
And it leaves the same day? Goes back to Chicago?
I think so.
Okay.
I have to double check.
Yeah, double check that for me. As American, so.
I know
that.
I know that's right.
And you mentioned the Midwest. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's a constant conversation. I think, too, we have to pay a lot of attention. There's so much more to tourism than just the marketing piece. You have to pay attention to what's happening globally in terms of challenges. That number of things have affected, whether it's a tariff, a number of things have affected decisions that airlines are making. They may have planned to, put 6 more planes in the fleet, but because of other things happening, they're not doing that. So we have to stay constantly engaged with them so we're top of mind. But the airline conversation is almost a daily conversation. I just want to say that.
Okay, so just because this sweet bread that we got ended in February, that don't mean that the conversation ain't happening.
Correct.
Okay,
And we also, flights that are going into St. Thomas only, we're always advocating for St. Croix. We're always advocating for St. Croix.
Well, I just being honest and candid here.
Sure.
St. Thomas is the tourism epicenter of the Virgin Islands. Let me just call a spade, right?
Absolutely.
So I will never want to take anything away from St. Thomas. And of course, St. Thomas also serves as a hub for Tortola and the British Virgin Islands.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So we can't ignore that.
Absolutely.
Let me get back to sports a little bit because you're talking to a sports junkie.
Please don't ask me any stats.
No. The Olympic Committee, they represent the Virgin Islands.
Correct.
Is there any way that we could continue? We could increase them literally being the ambassadors that they are?
That's the conversation to be had. I have not spoken to them. They have not reached out to me. I don't know if they've spoke to the previous commissioner. But I'm always open to engaging. So that's a possibility.
No. Well, we got games that are globally promoted. Pan American Games, Olympic Games. So that's the reason why I asked that question. And you mentioned sports earlier. So I just wanted to do that. Festivals, Carnival coming up. I didn't want to miss that out. You excited about being commissioner for Carnival the first time? Because technically that's the Virgin Islands Carnival.
Yes.
That's not St. Thomas Carnival.
Right.
That's the Virgin Islands Carnival.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that anticipation.
So very excited. I mean, Carnival is such a production because it's multiple nights, multiple things, a lot of people. Sometimes it's like wrangling a lot of people, but it's very exciting. Let me just back up a little bit. So did my first festival, December to January. With events, and I've been involved with very large events back in the day. Everybody knows I was very involved in Tempo. Love the events, but happy when they're over and they're safe. You're kind of holding your breath until the end. You want everyone to have a really good time. You want people to really enjoy the experience, and then you also want them to put it on their calendar for every year. That's the big thing. I tell people, whatever we're doing, I want to be able to have a conversation with you next year about why you came back. And I think there's some properties, there's some people that really have perfected that in terms of how they treat their visitors. St. Thomas, very excited about Carnival. In my previous role, although I was not in charge of Carnival, I worked very closely with the festivals and because we were a big sponsor. So it is exciting to now be at the helm. Once again, just like we did in St. Thomas, bringing new elements in, as I mentioned, like the MyVI app, so you'll be able to see, all of the village booths and know who has what. We were actually encouraging people to download the app. We gave away $200 every night at the village. We'll be doing that again, and we'll be doing the microloan. So always looking for things that will bring more people into the festival space. Most people don't think of RT Park or Community Impact Fund as being tied to festival, but they have money specifically for people to help them. $5,000, $10,000, that could mean the difference between you having an amazing booth or just getting by. And
the
so
RT Park is one of the best things going on in the Virgin Islands right now.
Yeah, they do a great job, and we're working with them closely on several other programs that they're going to be doing because we have the platform. Going back to our social media, so the microloan program. I mean, when that was done, we were able to get.
Dr. Morris came here and introduced it.
Yes.
And she's also a contributing member every Monday on our table talk here as well.
Yes.
So that's good.
So we collaborated with them immediately and got the word out, and now it's something that people look forward to, and also connected them with some other partners. So
time flying.
Sure.
A couple of minutes left. What to expect at the fair from the Department of Tourism? The Ag Fest.
The AgriFest. So we will be there. You won't be able to miss us. What you can expect is a lot of engagement. We're going to have cultural quizzes. We're going to have people doing some exhibits. We'll have some surprises for you too, but it's definitely going to be about engagement. And once again, I think about visitors, obviously tourism coming in, but locals also need to know what we're doing. And so there's going to be a lot of engagement. So please do not pass by the tent. Get out of the mindset of, I'm a local, that's for tourists. No, it's for you too, because there's a lot of really good information that we'll be sharing. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So,
Shaniqua, any final thoughts before I excuse you, distinguished ladies?
Yes, St. Thomas Carnival dates are April 26th through May 2nd, St. John, June 27th through July 4th, and St. Croix, December 24th to January 2nd. And of course, I'm sure we'll be back to speak about those in more detail.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I've been begging you to come on, but you tell me, no, you. In fairness to you, you said, Neville, I want to get confirmed first, right? Officially confirmed, and you are absolutely correct. So
yes. Thank you for the invitation.
Of course, the door is wide open. Thank Janae. Edney.
Yes.
Right? She played a part in scheduling this as well. Rafi coming back in.
And on a final note, I want to say a big good morning to my amazing, dynamic, tiny tourism team. Thank you guys for all the work that you're doing. Right now, as I'm
Shamari
speaking,
threatened me last night, told me make sure to treat you with kitty gloves. I would have to deal with him. So.
My team is very protective, so I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I'm just joking. He was nice.
Yeah.
So you guys, Parosang to walk with.
This
So you figured out that
incredible.
Look at the lyrics, see if you could do a little something, and
that is incredible.
Hey, congratulations!
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And you're an asset to the Virgin Islands, and
thank you.
I'm proud of you. First of all, for those of you who don't know, we share the same birthday. You know what I'm saying? She walked up to me in 1982 and said, "Today is my birthday too." So I'll never forget that as a 12th grader. It's nonsense.
That is funny.
And I'm proud of you. Shaniqua, always good to see you.
Same, thank you.
That's the show for today, man. Be good, be safe, and we talk tomorrow.
Thank you.
Don't drink up all that liquor now. Calypsos and steel band will tell you it's carnival. Beauty queens parading, man, you can't miss this festival. It starts before Christmas until January the 8th. Make hotel reservations now before it's too late. Come on, you are all invited. Come on, you will be delighted. Just walk around and see why the pirates found the town to be such a hunting ground. Oh boy, come to St. Croix. Come to St. Croix. Even if you live to see 163, lovely St. Croix will always be in your memory. No matter where you wander and no matter where you roam, you must always remember St. Croix is your second home.
Boxing comes to the Met in the true story of Emil Griffith, who landed a fatal blow in the ring. Brian Speedo Green plays the young Emil in his glory. Eric Owens is the elderly Emil, revisiting scenes from his past as a boxer and a closet